Georgiii Zantaria of the Ukraine is one of these brilliant judoka who can turn a disadvantage to his advantage in a split second. He has absolute brilliance. Talk about being proactive and reactive. He comes out with the sole intention to score Ippon. And he can throw from many different angles. He can throw to the front, he can throw to the back, he can counter. But his great advantage is that he's so difficult to throw onto his back. You're able to throw him, but to put him onto his back is a totally different thing. And what he does is he goes with the flow of the movement, and he has that feeling of judo in his body. And what happens is if he can't throw for Ippon and somebody manages to throw him, he goes with it and he baranis and he does cartwheels and backflips and he lands on his front. But not just that, he can find a way to turn it to his advantage as well, and often in an attacking position. So he can follow through to groundwork, or he can turn a throw against him to his advantage and he ends up in a hold down. He's just absolutely brilliant at it. He's one of the best in the world at it. And I know that you're going to really enjoy this analysis. Zantaraya is one of the greats of modern day judo. And one of the reasons is that he's so proactive and he's reactive. And we're following on the theme of proactive, reactive. He's a massive thrower. And of course, he's reactive as well, and he's able to spin out of certain things in the most incredible way, but that's from reaction from his opponent. Here we're going to start off with him throwing, and we can just see a variation of different throws that he has and how he adapts to certain situations. And we can see here that arm round the back, this is what he likes here. He likes his arm around the back of his opponent here, and then what happens is he starts in for a direct, well, Surigoshi, isn't it? It's big hips, and you can see there that it's not quite all the way across, but then turns it into the Uchimata. And he has such a beautiful line here for this Uchimata. And of course, his head here just plays a massive part because he gets the rotation in the head in order to take his opponent flat onto his back. Brilliant stuff. All right, that's a starter. And here he changes it. And this time his Soda Makakomi. So his Soda Makakomi here doesn't always have this arm on. So you can see that this arm here now just slips off. And often when he starts this off, he doesn't always begin with the arm on. And you can see here that he traps the leg and his arm here starts to go for the Makakomi. And he often makes readjustments when he's doing this in order to rotate his opponent flat onto his back. He makes big readjustments with this Soto Makakomi, which make it absolutely remarkable. This is his trademark, well, Uchimata. It's a variation of Uchimata, but a lot of people were calling it Uranagi from the front. And we'll have a look at him do it fast first of all, and then let's just play it back and have a look at it in slow motion. Arm around the back here, so he can do his ukigoshi or his ogoshi from that position. And then what happens is he starts with the Uchimata movement. Well, it's Uranagi almost, isn't it? Because he starts to throw his hips upwards here, and his leg is going upwards in that direction here. But look at his head, because his head starts to go in this direction here, and then he has a little hop, a little spin, and without a doubt, it's Uchimata. And that comes directly from the Kodokan there that gave it a variation of Uchimata. Brilliantly taken, and, well, 3 different variations of a throw from the great Zantaraya. We can see it bird's eye view this time, and here different grip, different Uchimata. Let's just play that one back here, and nice to have a look at the different grips here and different variations. I think what I love about this, he's got a cross grip here, and what I love here is the head trajectory, because the head goes right the way down, but he almost carries all the way round in a circular movement. Looks as if his head's going to hit the floor, doesn't it? But his head is carrying on here in a rotational movement, and you can see here that he's got control with the hand. And of course, all the way through this, he's got an even better kazushi, which rotates his partner on to his side this time. Doesn't quite get the Ippon for it, but still absolute brilliance from Zantaraya. Lashiwaza this time. And this one here, superb, because what he does here, it's real action reaction, isn't it? His opponent is round his back. He's round his opponent's back here, and it looks like either one of them can attack. So have a look here, whereas opponent, well, kind of half hesitates here, and Zantaraya, without any big movement, just uses his hip here and his massive kazushi hand and the arm around the back here in order to rotate his opponent onto his back. It was Taiwaza at its very best. Taiwaza, and, well, we'll watch it back one more time, this time at speed, a little bit more speed anyway. Brilliantly taken. So another Surigoshi, and this time a change in direction. Let's have a look at the Surigoshi again, just before we get to the transition into Newaza. Here's the Surigoshi. So again, arm around the back here. Zantaraya starting with his arm around the back. Hasn't got the sleeve at this moment. Now he has the sleeve. So catches the sleeve as it comes up. This is what he wants. And almost immediately now, starting to go in with the leg. And remember, he can do the Uchimata from here, or he can do just massive hip movement. Massive hip movement it is. And so the hips start to go right the way through. And this time, the big Surigoshi from the grip he's got over the back here starts to rotate his opponent. So both hands working together and absolutely flat on his back there for a massive Ippon. Brilliant stuff from Zantaraya. Now have a look at his transition. A big Kosoto from his opponent. Then Zantaraya's in for the shimiwaza. And let's just play that back just to see the cross and the transition. So we'll see it from the Kosoto. Changing direction here from his opponent. Kosoto. Zantaraya does well to come onto his knees. As he comes onto his knees, he starts to come up. Now comes the catch. Because the catch comes and he pulls upwards on his opponent's sleeve there in order to get space to be able to go in. Now what happens? It goes underneath the neck with the jacket and straight the way over the top for the shimiwaza. Now, because of the break, it means that he's able to go directly onto the leg. So he goes onto the leg here. It's newaza. Now it is newaza, and he can go onto the leg for the shimiwaza. He tries to slip out of it here, his Belgian opponent, but to no avail. Zantaraya gets the leverage he wants, and it just changes direction just a little bit here, and he takes his opponent flat onto his back here, tries to relieve it, and you can see there that he has to submit. This one is the most remarkable one for me, because never say it's over, And that there to go into the outside kami is absolutely amazing. Let's just have a look at how he gets into this. This is the last throwing example that we have here. And what happens is here, he goes completely off balance. So this arm here starts the whole process. Such is the brilliance of Zantaraya, he starts to go in for the attack. So this arm isn't in properly. And you can see here that his head is this side of the balance line. So that means that his head is not quite in the right position. As he starts to go in for the technique, now his head is completely in the wrong position here. And his opponent is looking to take him in this direction here as a counter. But Zantaraya makes a readjustment. Now his head is completely tucked under his opponent's armpit here. And his hips are completely the wrong side. Now his arm here is in the wrong place should I say, but Zantaraya goes all the way down, but remarkably he still has control of his opponent's head. Now Zantaraya's hips are here completely in the wrong place, but Zantaraya doesn't let go. And what he does now, he starts to walk his legs in this direction here, and he walks his opponent all the way, look at that, brings his hips all the way across, and he starts to walk his opponent. He doesn't get a score for this because there's too much of a delay, but what he does do is walk his opponent all the way into the outside kami. He never lets go with the grip, and that is quite a remarkable, well, readjustment, and it just shows the absolute brilliance of Zantaraya. Gets the outside kami and he gets the Ippon from nothing. So what makes him truly incredible is his ability to avoid situations. Proactive, reactive. So what we're going to do now is have a look at how he is reactive. Look at that, a straight Barani out. Every time landing onto his front. So brilliant stuff. Let's just slow it down just that little bit. Let's just have a look at a couple of these and see how he does it. He just goes with the flow. Arm down. This arm comes down. He knows he can't use his head. So then what he starts to do is rotate onto his front. So difficult to throw for Ippon. Not impossible, but so difficult. Does the same here. Brilliant Seanagi from his opponent. Great Kazushi here. But what happens halfway through, rather than resisting too much, he goes with the flow. And he uses this hand here in order to help the rotation. He rotates onto his side. Doesn't use his head to any great effect there. It just kind of brushes the ground. And he does exactly the same here. Arm goes down, doesn't quite touch this time. So just does a straight Barani here in order to land onto his front. Great readjustment of movement from his opponent's movement, and talk about being reactive. This is reaction at its very best. So this time, Zantaraya starts it off. Zantaraya starts the movement. His opponent starts to try to turn him into the Jujigatami. But Zantaraya does a full turn, spins onto his front, back up, ready for action. Massive Surigoshi. Look at this. Well, it's more Koshiguruma, isn't it? Koshiguruma, his opponent's hips are right the way through. Just rotates onto his front, no chance of a score. Arm round the back again. His opponent hips right the way through, thinks he's got him. Zantaraya rotates, only this time he rotates into an attacking position. Absolute brilliance. Let's have a look at this one in full motion. Follows it through and ends up into the old side commi. This is the one that we're going to end on, so let's just have a look at this just in a little bit more detail. Big Uchimata attack here from his opponent. Surigoshi grip. Uchimata leg goes right the way up the middle. But Zantaraya flicks all the way over, does the same Barani, doesn't let it go. Comes up into an attacking position, never lets up, closes the gap, avoids the leg, and drops into the Kamishiho Gatami. The Kamishiho changes. Zantaraya manages to close it up, turns it into Kazure Kesakatami. Zantaraya wins by Ippon. Absolutely proactive, reactive from Zantaraya. And what can I say? He is one of the absolute best. And it's the flow of judo that makes him so special. He has such a feel for it. And it makes him very, very special. Learn the secrets of Uchimata. Available now on anyeffectivefighting.com.